throughout my early years, even my adulthood was affected by that.
I love doing things for people, and I think people took advantage of it.
You don't want to come across as disrespectful.
Took me a lot of time, years. I was basically living for people.
I was scared that if I lose these people, I'm going to be in the street. People will talk about me.
If putting other people's happiness in front of yours is really worth it.
First of all, they don't have a mind of their own.
I always say, if you are people pleaser, you're living other people's life.
Yeah, that's right.
I know what I'm doing, but I still have to run to them.
Seeking validation.
Have this mindset that with or without you, I can make it. You are not my destiny.
Are you a people pleaser? Welcome to It Is Still Possible. It Is Still Possible is a talk show that explores the incredible stories of resilience, hope, and triumph in the face of adversity. In today's episode, we are looking at an interesting topic, people pleasing. And we are all aware how this, it's very detrimental when it comes to people pleasing. As people that strive to please other people, most of the time, sacrifice their own needs, their own desires, their own wants, and even losing themselves in the process. And on today's episode, I'm joined here by, three lovely ladies. And there's no better way to get to know them than allowing them to introduce themselves. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
And I'm going to start on my far right. Hawa, if you can please introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Hello, I'm Hawa Brahma. I'm one of the youth leaders at Cross Purpose Church. I'm a mental health support worker, and I'm also a chaplain in training.
Thank you very much for that.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melody. I'm a nurse. I'm a content creator. I'm a talk show host. I'm CEO of Talk with Smell K.
That's good. Thank you very much. And on my left.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Kumasaduna. I aspire to have my own NGO, like Mind and Body.
Well, thank you very much for that brief introduction. And welcome one more time. And I'm looking forward to engaging with you. And we're going to start right with our discussion. I would like to get to know more of our, guests on the show today. And I'm going to start with our, last guest that introduced herself, Mrs. Elizabeth Kumasaduno. What is the best piece of advice that you have ever received? It can be about anything.
I think it will be from my dad when I was in high school. And two, actually. The first one is always being content with what you have and never be in a competition with anyone else because you don't know how they got what they got. And the other one was knowing how to separate my wants from my needs. That's very important because sometimes we don't know the difference between our wants and needs. We think we need everything, but really, if we sit down and think, we actually don't need it. It's a want. That was an advice from my dad, loving your own home.
That's very good. Thank you very much for sharing that. And I would like to hear from Hawa. What do people misunderstand about you the most?
I think I come across as introverted, very quiet, and I think people take that as arrogance or disrespect.
Yeah.
But I just like my own company since I was a child, with siblings. I just like being on my own. I don't really like talking too much. I think I speak when I need to say something or I need to voice my opinion. But apart from that, I'm very sheltered and very introverted. I'm not arrogant or rude. I just like my own company.
That's very good. It is a very good one because sometimes when people are quiet or, people think they are rude, they are proud or, they don't want to associate themselves with others. Thank you very much for sharing that. And I would like to start with this very basic question. And this is a discussion so anyone can come in at any moment instead of me going, calling names or pointing at fingers at people. The first question is it a bad thing to make people happy? Is it a bad thing to make people happy?
Okay. For me, I can say it's not a bad thing to make people happy. Because when you're happy, when people around you happy, you will become happy as well. But in everything you do, there's always a limitation. You don't overdo. You don't step out of things to make people happy. So
Well-
you have to get limits.
If I may interrupt you, you said if the people around you are happy, it makes you happy. Are you then depending, or like, is your happiness dependent on those around you? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'll give an example. Like my home is a big example.
Yeah.
If my kids are happy, I'm 100% happy. But if my kids are not happy, I'm not. No matter what, I'm not happy. So that's one example. So I just feel like when I'm happy and people around me happy,
Yeah.
it's kind of a positive going on.
Environment. Yeah.
And what makes me happy. But if people around me are not happy, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I can be the only happy one among. So it will put me down as well.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off that. I feel like making people happy is very important, but I also believe there's boundaries to everything. Anything that goes against your morals, your ethics, as a person, trying to make other people happy, I think people need to revisit that and try to really critically think if putting other people's happiness in front of yours is really worth it. And at the end of the day.
Do you have anything to add, or?
Well, everything has been said, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices to come out of our own comfort zone to make other people happy.
And that brings me to the key question for today's discussion. You know, we hear a lot about people pleasing, and this is coming from, our experiences and our opinions. What does it mean to be a people pleaser? What does it mean to be a people pleaser? Maybe you can start at this because you were the last person to speak.
Well, somebody who's a people pleaser, first of all, they don't have a mind of their own, I believe. Because if you have a mind of your own, you're not bothered and you don't try to fit in. You're just yourself, regardless of who likes you or not. So people pleaser, sometimes it can also stem from childhood, those who were neglected or rejected. So they come to that place as adults or in their wherever journey they are to attach themselves, attachment. So I think people who people please, first of all, I believe they don't have a mind of their own and they seek the validation, approval of others. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's very good. Thank you. And one of you can come in at any moment.
I always say, if you are people pleaser, you're living other people's life.
Yeah, that's right.
That's very
Because
important.
if you choose to please people, you have abandoned yourself. You have forget about yourself, and now you're living the life of other people.
That's right.
So your purpose, your future, your ambition, everything is gone. So if you are a people's pleaser, know that you're living other people's life.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yep, 100% agree. I work with a lot of young people at work and church. And one of the major things and the major patterns is lack of identity. And the root of insecurity can also cause people to be people pleasers because they feel like they need to fit in with the crowd or their peer pressure to do certain acts. Also, just insecurity can really drive people to do things that they don't really want to do. Someone who's really introverted could do really extroverted activities just to fit in with the crowd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. On that note, I would like to ask you this very direct question, but also like on the spot. Are you a people pleaser, or have you ever been in that situation where you were a people pleaser?
I was a people pleaser until I encountered a pretty, I want to say a mind-opening experience when I was in high school. And that experience really changed my outview on my life. I did a lot of soul searching, I could say, and a lot of isolation so I could find the answer and solution to my issues. I think in high school, it's really hard to find your foot. It's really hard to find your identity.
Yeah.
I was in a group where I felt like I was the scapegoat of the group. I'm a really empathetic person, so I like to do things for people, and my love language is actions and
Service.
words of action. So I love doing things for people, and I think people took advantage of it because they saw the pattern of me doing things, and I was a yes person. I didn't really stand up for myself, and they were pushing my boundaries a lot, and I just went with it because I was really insecure at that moment. And I think I was coming home from school one day on the bus, and I just had a mental breakdown on this bus. And I'm like, why are people treating me like this? Like, I do everything for them and nothing gets given back to me in return. And I felt so disheartened, and I felt really depressed at that moment. And I went into a period of isolation, and I was really thinking, asking God, what's my next step? What am I supposed to do? And basically what God revealed to me is I need to find my own identity, and I need to stand my own ground and be my own person. And that's where I really started dissociating with people who take and they don't give. I feel like relationships, friendships, anything has to be a balance. It's a give or take. I do something, you do something, we're balanced. And yeah, that's how I evolved from people pleasing. Now I really set my boundaries, no matter where I am, work, school, church, boundaries all the time, because it's good to be empathetic, but it's also good to stand your ground.
That's very good, and I think in that particular area I can feel it, because I myself was in that, because I am a very empathetic person. Service is one of my areas. Like, I love to serve people. I love to be there for people. But when people begin to take advantage of that, and when you don't know yourself, when you have not discovered yourself, that's where, even as Melody mentioned earlier, that's where now you begin to live for other people. You letting go of your dreams or your aspiration and begin to basically live other people's lives. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say. Like, have you ever been in that situation where maybe you were a people pleaser, or currently are you a people pleaser?
Yes, I was a big victim of people pleaser. I was a victim. I was living I would say 2 years of pleasing people. And then when you are in that situation, you never knew you were a people pleaser. Because you feel like anything you're doing, it's okay. Because you're seeing the people happy and it makes you happy. So you feel like, I'm doing things okay, but it's not okay.
It's not.
So what happened within that 2 years that I started to realize is that I lost focus. I didn't achieve anything when I was pleasing people. So there was a time I don't have, like as Elizabeth said, I didn't have the mind on my own. I have to run to these people when I want to do something, even though I have the knowledge. I know what I'm doing, but I still have to run to them.
Seeking validation.
Say, I want to do this. What do you think? And then they will give me the same advice that I was thinking that I'm going to do. So it affects me mentally, financially, psychologically. I was affected. And in that situation, it was hard. How can you get yourself out of it? Because that's how you have lived your life. And in that way, the way I start to do is to cut people down. I always say, you don't have to take everyone to the end of your journey. Some people, you drop them on your way. Because there may be no space. So that's how I have to overcome that situation.
That's a very good one, and thank you very much, for sharing this. Coming now to you, I know you may have something to say in regards to it, but I have a specific question for you. Have you ever changed your focus in life? Something that you want to do so bad, but you change it because someone influenced you. And if that ever happened in your life, take us through that experience. Share with us the journey.
I think it's more of parental, African parents. I want you to do this, study this, and you don't want to come across as disrespectful, so you do it for them, to please them, but not any other influence, except like my own self, where then maybe procrastinate or, get new ideas, you become overwhelmed. But in that aspect of refocusing my, thinking to do something, mainly parental.
Yes. Is there an example? I know you started talking about studies. Is there like a specific example that you can share with us?
In Africa, being a nurse is the dream job for girls. So I did nursing, but on my final placement, I realized, this is not for me. And luckily, the school also shut down. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to start again. And finding my own personality. So I came to that realization, community services is where I belong, advocating, speaking up for people, and, having my own organization, empowering women. So nursing was more to please my parents. Yeah.
I really want to know if, like, did you, because I know you said it earlier, did you find it hard to say no? That's one aspect. And did your upbringing play a part into that?
It was a bit so hard to say no,
Yeah.
because I was living my life as pleasing people. And then for me to change, to stand for myself and start saying no, it was a difficult one.
Very difficult.
In that situation, I was thinking, I'm going to lose people. I'm going to lose
It's a big
people
one.
that I trust.
Yeah.
People that I've shared my secret with. I'm going to lose those people. And I was scared, and I got the stigma. I said, if I lose those people, they're going to say something about me. And I didn't want those things to go out. And then one day I said, no, this is me, and I have to do this, and I'm going to do it. So what I do, I set boundaries. I started putting boundaries. I started making my own decision. I started putting things in place without asking anyone. I started, and the thing about society is when you cut certain people down, they make stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And when
Very
they
big
make
one.
those
Yeah.
stories, it match up with what people think because
About you.
they
Yeah.
used to see you guys together.
Yeah.
They said, in my local language, if someone knows anything about you in the street, someone from your house
We have told
give
them.
them the information.
Yep.
So I was scared that if I lose those people, I'm going to be in the street. People will talk about me.
You're gonna say a
so
lot of
I will
things.
continue to please them. But what I did, I said to myself, no. I'm going to walk away for whatever situation will bring me down. And I'm ready to face the situation. And I'm ready to accept the situation and work on it. So when you are in any situation, you're ready to walk away from the situation. Don't be scared, say what people will say about me. Because what people will say about you will hold you down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the more you face it, it's something we call acceptance therapy.
Yep.
Accept your situation and you face it.
Yeah.
If you refuse to accept it, you will never get away
Wow.
from it.
Yep.
So you accept it and then you work on it. Back home, they said, if you don't accept you're mad, even if they give you 50,000 medication, you will never get
You
healed.
will never get. Yeah.
Because you didn't accept it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I accept the situation and I walk away. I didn't think about anything behind me. I just focus on myself. And now I'm not going to say I'm 100% where I want to be, but I thank God for where I am.
It's a very good one. I know exactly. I myself, I struggle with that, and for me personally, like my upbringing had a lot to do with that. Growing up, in the community, in the society where saying no is seen as disrespectful. Saying no is seen as being proud. Saying no is, you are labeled. There's that stigma, as you rightly said. So, like, throughout my, early years, even my adulthood was affected by that. I left Africa, came to Australia. Took me a lot of time, years. I was basically living for people, because I don't want to say no to my mom or say no to my uncle, say no to my grandma. They're going to see me as disrespectful, as disobedient. But it took courage. It took courage for me to say, you know what? I've been living for people. It is time for me to live for myself now.
Yeah.
Yes,
It is time.
as Betty said, as
Yeah.
Elizabeth said before, in our African culture and community, we so respect elderly. Even if what they're telling us to do, it's not the right thing for us,
We still have
we
to
just
do
want to
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for us to say no.
No.
And she was doing it to please the parent.
Yeah.
And that was not her calling. And that's what parents need to realize now.
Yep.
Just focus and support your child
Yes.
on what they want to do. Because I would say maybe she wasted 2 years
True,
doing
3
that.
years. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was doing mine, I have the passion to do it, but she doesn't have the passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when she started. So now, like, she wasted like
3
years.
Yeah.
So if she should have gone into the what she loved, she should have
Different
been
story.
far ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was bad.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Auntie Melody. How would you set boundaries with, African aunties, African uncles, as a young person? Like, what advice would you give to somebody like me who is in a difficult situation where they have to put boundaries, but they're too scared to say no?
That's a good one.
Okay. That's a good one. The things that I do sometimes, and I'll advise you to do, is sometimes you say something. They said, I can say something at the wrong, you can say the right thing at the wrong time. So what you say, and make sure you say it at the right time. Example, if you want to talk to your mom about, you don't want to go to certain occasion, and you want to talk to your mom about it. Your mom wants you to go, right? But you don't want to go. What you do, find appropriate time to talk to your mom. Don't talk to your mom where your mom will feel embarrassed or your mom will not able to reply you. Because our African parents, most African parents, if you try to talk to me where I'll feel embarrassed, what I would do, I will embarrass
Defense.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have asked me the question in an inappropriate situation. Sometimes you might be shy, you will not be able to say, Mom, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to go. So what are you going to do? There's so many ways. One, you can do by texting. Put it in a nice content form, text. If you can text, find the right appropriate time to say something. Sometimes you can say the right thing at the wrong time.
And then create
So,
problem.
yes, and then it creates problem.
More problem,
So when you're saying something, and then if you want to put your boundaries, like this is what I need to do and this is what I don't want to do, before you, sometimes your action says a lot.
Yeah.
And that can affect a lot of people.
Yeah.
They will judge you wrongly. You're a quiet person. If you see me, but you always put your face down. In my African culture, if I'm talking to you, you have to put your head down. You don't look at me. But in the Western world where we are, I have to look at you in your eyes.
Yes.
So, which is understandable. So, when you want to put boundaries, try to make yourself relax. Make them understand how you feel. Let them understand how you're feeling.
About the
And let
situation.
them respect how you feel. But before they respect you, you have to respect their boundaries.
Yeah.
So when you respect their boundaries, they respect your boundaries as well. So that's exactly what you should do as well.
Thank you very much for that. Now I know it already started by Howard asking the question about advice, and that's where we're gonna be, ending our discussion today. I'm gonna start with Elizabeth. You have come out of that, you may have experienced it. Maybe there's someone, watching us, listening to us, that as a young person, as an elderly person, this people pleasing thing is not age limited. People can be in their 40s and still be a people pleaser. So what advice will you give to someone that is currently struggling with people pleasing? How can they come out of it?
First of all, knowing yourself. It starts with you. Know yourself. Know, because we all have different personality. And be confident in your own skin, in your own self, in your own personality. As Howard stated, she's an introvert. Some people, they like to be out there. So I guess, first of all, knowing yourself, knowing your morals and your values goes a long way. So then you don't compromise. And setting that, it shapes the standards you set. So if I come in contact with someone, maybe a romantic relationship, friendship, or family, I have standards already and morals. This, I cannot lower it down for anybody. So first of all, it starts with you. And the second thing I will say is, are these people worth it? In a sense, sometimes we may think, knowing this person for a year or two, they're going to be in our life forever. Are they worth doing all this extra stuff for? Are they even going to matter 5 years time from now? Are they even going to be in my life when I'm in need? Are they even going to come to my rescue? So question yourself, are these people who are solid? Even if they're solid, you don't need to compromise who you are to please them. And most importantly, having a mind of your own. If you don't have a mind of your own, you're going to be confused. You can go everywhere, people will tell you different ideas, different things, and you'll want to please them. Even as Auntie Melody was sharing, in terms of living for
People.
And sometimes even in the church setting, you have pastors, you have elders, you have deacons. Some people, when they see like a pastor, they behave a certain way. And when they're out there in the community, there's somebody else. So just be yourself. That's all I can say. Be yourself. The right people will gravitate towards you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I, a lot of things has been said here, and I was, one thing that has remained so far with me, of course, among the many, is what Melody said, knowing that no one is with you on this journey for eternity. Everyone is there for a period of time. Some people may come in your life for 2-3 years, and their time will expire, and then you will meet other people. So knowing that this person is in my life today, I don't know what the future holds. And then knowing that they are placed and not, giving yourself up. Now, I don't know whether I should go to Howard first or to you first. In terms of advice, maybe there's a young person, out there, maybe there's someone struggling with people pleasing. And if you are to sit with them, face to face as you are sitting down with me here, and they're asking you, what can I do? What are some of the, guide you will give them to come out of that situation?
First of all, when you are a people's pleaser, it's hard for you to realize that.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult situation for you to realize that I'm a people pleaser. I please people. What am I doing for myself? But in that situation, this is what's happening. Sit down, think, right? The people that I'm pleasing, they're doing very good. They're doing their thing. But what have I done? What have I achieved? What am I achieving from them? What impact are they giving me?
Yeah.
If I'm pleasing them, are they pleasing me? Are we having the same energy?
It's a good question.
Because some people, the energy you have that you're giving to them, they're not giving you the same energy.
That's right.
Even in a relationship. That's why sometimes they say you are the only one in your relationship. Because maybe you are into the person, but the person is not into you.
Yeah.
And you were there pleasing someone. So you have to shape your circle. You don't have to be you don't have to belong to so many people or groups to know that I have my purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be quiet in your room, make a planner, and you will know exactly that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, but because I'm doing this, I'm not focusing on this.
Yeah.
So certain things you need to put in place. One, look around you.
Yeah.
What are the people around you? I like to refer back home. They said, the people, if you show me the people around you, I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
So check around you and see. A positive and negative will never go together.
No.
So it has to be positive. So if you are around negative people,
Definitely.
you will never get a positive thing.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to do is you shape yourself. And then have this mindset that with or without you, I can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are not my destiny. I have something to do. I have future. I have things to do. And it doesn't mean if I walk away from you, my life will not go forward. Some people have stuck into a certain situation where if they make an attempt to come out of it, they will be in a brighter place. But some of them are still stuck in a very confined place where they feel like, I don't want to leave my friendship with Elizabeth because if I leave my friendship, I'm not going to get a better friend out there. Some people want to come closer to you, but because of the situation
People that you are,
they will never come to you.
Definitely.
And sometimes I said, God wants to bless you, but because of the people you circle yourself with, you will not get the blessing.
Yep.
So the first thing you need to do is to watch your surrounding. Watch your surrounding, what the people you interact with, the type of conversation you're having. Is it a positive conversation? The whole day, what did you talk about? Did you talk about anything that will make sense to you?
Yeah.
Is anything positive, or you were just on the phone gossiping from morning to night? What did you do? If I come to Elizabeth, or if I come to I'm not working. Did our help me to apply for job? Did you talk to me about job? Start to think. My friend that I go to never told me about job.
Yeah.
I'm jobless. And then she will leave me and she will say, I'm going to go to work. And you at home.
Yeah,
and
spending
then after
time.
work, she will call me, let's hang out. Why don't you tell me to apply for job?
Yep.
So think about the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Wow.
How they are growing. That's what's going to happen. That's how you make yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a very, 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 very beautiful illustration. That's very good. And Hawa, I don't know if you have any advice. You have spoken a lot.
Very
Words
shortly.
of wisdom this evening. Yeah.
I think a lot of people who are people pleasers are really empathetic people and they're really compassionate. And I feel like for me, I channeled my empathy to things that I thought were worthy of. Not to say that other people's issues aren't worthy of help, but like volunteering. I've done so much volunteering since I was like 10 years old, going with my dad, volunteering, food shelters, homeless shelters, children's hospitals. I've done that all through my life. That's because I channeled my empathy to other things and helping people with other things. Because even though I feel like a lot of people take advantage of people because they know them and they know their circumstances. But if you're going to a food shelter and you're helping those people don't know you. You're just channeling your empathy into something that's different, something outside of your environment, which could be a good place for someone who is a people pleaser to start. Channel your empathy into other things outside of your environment with people that you don't know. And I would also say isolation. All the great people that God used in the Bible, all of them went through a period of isolation.
Yep.
It's okay to be by yourself.
Self-discovery.
Yep, self-discovery, find your identity. You do not have to be in a crowd. You do not have to be with a clique. You can be your own person and serve God and fulfill your destiny and find your purpose in this world without people. Because I feel like unless the group of people that you're in, if God hasn't really put you together, there's nothing fruitful that's going to come out of that. And you're most likely going to be a people pleaser, especially if you're in that position where you find yourself overtly empathetic, overtly compassionate. People will really take advantage of that. I would say isolation, channeling your empathy into different things, and just finding your identity.
Wow. Well, I don't know what to say, but that's all we have for you today. And I want to use this moment to say a very big thank you. This is like a lot of wisdom has been, shared here tonight. A lot of experiences, and I truly appreciate your time. And you coming here sharing, being honest, sharing some of your experiences, and also, giving out the advice. Thank you very much, Howard. Thank you, Melody. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I believe this is not the end. There will be another opportunity where we can, have a session like this. Thank you very much to our viewers. Thank you for tuning in today. And until next time, stay safe and be blessed.